What's up, Carl Vinson? I'm your host, MC3 George Bell, and you're watching The 70, a program where we show you, the sailors, what's going on around the deck plates and take a glimpse in the lives of some of your shipmates. Our planned incremental availability period seemed like a tall order when it all started, but with hard work and dedication, the Carl Vinson proved once again that we will be on time and ready for tasking. Petty Officer James Guthrie shows us the culmination of our hard work.
I consider us in PIA now, as you know. I haven't had a chance really, but want to say welcome aboard to our shipyard workforce. We've got Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and some of our contractors, AITs aboard with us already, doing a lot of great work getting this ship started into PIA and getting her set up for many more years of war fighting at sea to come. So thank you for joining us. We look forward to working with you here and getting this project done on time and under budget.
On August 1st, 2012, USS Carl Vinson officially started its planned incremental availability, PIA. The goal of this PIA was simple. We wanted to prepare this great warship for 20 more years of valiant service. This was no easy task. The list of jobs to be completed amounted to 8,750 jobs that ranged from upgrading radar systems to improving the crew's living quarters throughout the ship. As contractors began inhabiting the ship, different departments throughout the ship were moved to the APL-65 barge ship parked alongside the Carl Vinson on the pier. Along with the available space that was provided for the different departments, the barge also provided numerous berthings for the sailors aboard to call home. During PIA, more than 400,000 man-hours were completed and $18,836,220 were saved. As PIA began to reach a close, the barge was removed and we entered into a fast cruise to test some of the shipboard equipment. As the fast cruise ended successfully, the Carl Vinson embarked on its first underway since our successful completion of PIA. During the 3-day underwear period, further tests were done on the ship to ensure that this great warship was ready for tasking.
We are obviously back out to sea. It's due to your hard work and diligence across that PIA that we just completed. 7 months of hard maintenance that allowed us to do this on time, an on-time completion for our PIA today on Friday. So we're back out. We're about 20 miles off the coast of San Diego, making 25 knots now through the water, headed out for our first event. We've got a very rigorous next couple of days here as we check out all the systems. We've got a lot of testing we're going to do at sea. We're going to check our main engines and a lot of other systems, combat systems, work the catapults, work the flight deck, work the plants. So we're going to be very busy for the next couple of days. I need everybody, again, fully engaged in that. I know this is what you signed up to do. Come out to sea and work on the pieces of equipment that belong to your department and your division. So I wanted to come on, though, and say congratulations, nice job, a safe evolution getting us underway today from the pier after 7 months of sitting tied to it. So the sea and anchor detail and all involved did fantastic work. But again, I appreciate all your efforts. We're glad to be back out here at sea, and I'll see you about the ship.
As each department goes through their equipment, the underway has been nothing but successful, proving to everyone aboard that we are indeed ready for anything. Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer James Guthrie.
What would you do if you had the chance to travel across the globe to participate in a mission that very few people knew about? Up next, Petty Officer Alex King tells us about a sailor who answered the call to help find some of our nation's prisoners of war or missing in action.
Throughout history, Generations of Americans gave their lives fighting for our country in wars that took place around the entire world. During the Vietnam conflict, while service members were on the ground fighting, sailors aboard all different kinds of ships were supporting the mission from the sea.
The aircraft carrier.
40 years later, one Carl Vinson sailor with an interesting family background got the chance to continue supporting the mission in Vietnam and participated in something that not a lot of people have heard about.
I am aviation boatswain mate handling 3rd class Elizabeth Montcalm-Valet. My mission was with JPAC, which stands for Joint POW MIA Accounting Command. We look for soldiers lost in war and bring their remains back.
JPAC is a command based out of Hawaii that is conducting global search, recovery, and laboratory operations to identify more than 83,000 unaccounted for Americans from past conflicts in order to support the Department of Defense personnel accounting efforts.
I was a linguist for JPAC. I was pretty much the bridge between the two nations and the barrier between languages. And I was the only one that spoke both languages. We did have Lao officials from the Lao side and then obviously military personnel from the American side.
So, why Laos?
Well, before JPAC goes and dig, they do a whole lot of survey. There's years and years of research that goes into it. You know, as soon as they have enough evidence or whatever, then, you know, they'll put out, you know, the mission like, hey, you know, you guys need to go dig here and we need to bring back this person to their family and so forth.
Language barriers weren't the only thing the team had to overcome. A lot of physical labor went into the search for the missing Americans.
The Laos people, well, the Americans, we dug. And the Laos people, you know, they'll like shovel dirt and we bucket the dirt, so they'll like pass the buckets, and they also help us screen, which, you know, that's how we find the remains.
Especially being a first-generation American, for Montcalm-Valet, visiting her parents' homeland was a dream come true.
It was my dream to go to my parents' home country. It's an experience I'll never forget.
In addition to the primary mission of going to Laos to search for remains, JPAC brought supplies and helped nurture a better relationship with the village closest to where they were operating.
We, as in the Navy, the military, we gave them a lot of good opportunities, health care, we built a bridge.
And even though her time with the team has come to a close, JPAC continues its search and has found more than 1,800 Americans since the accounting effort began in 1973. Due to the sensitive nature of this operation, we cannot disclose the exact number of Americans recovered. Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer Alex King.
Up next, we take a trip to the flight deck where Petty Officer Zachary Bell shows us that with proper training, most battles are won before they even begin.
The more you sweat during training, the less you bleed during battle. And on this windy day, perspiration made great preparation.
Now rig mobilist. Now rig mobilist. Station 1.
The other day we were doing rigging a barricade with lots of low pressure air.
Low pressure air is used for the ship's arresting gear,
Feed the lower!
which catches the planes on the flight deck.
Basically use a barricade in case aircraft experiences mechanical problems, low on gas, or in the middle of nowhere, and we're in a hot situation to get them back. We use a barricade. I had experienced it on board a USS Nimitz, October 24th, 1997.
That's it! Move a little bit. There you go.
Hornet 207 of VMFA 314. Experienced a total hydraulic loss, and we had to trap in the barricade. Keep on training and training and training, so when the real thing happens, you're prepared, you know what's going to happen, you just do it automatically.
Now rig mobilist. Station 1.
Up next, Petty Officer Alex King is back to show us how USS Carl Vinson and Carrier Strike Group 1's American Heritage Observance Committee celebrated Black History Month with a ceremony in the forecastle.
Between the Emancipation Proclamation and the March on Washington, African Americans took great strides towards gaining freedom and equality. The month of February 2013 commemorates these events and the actions of others committed to bringing equality to everyone. To celebrate at the crossroads of freedom and equality, AHawk members presented significant individuals and key events which spanned the time frame between the Emancipation Proclamation and the March on Washington, creating a visual bridge toward freedom and equality.
June 12, 1963. A former U.S. Army sergeant, civil rights activist, and field secretary for the NAACP, Medgar Evers was murdered just hours after President John F. Kennedy's speech on national television in support of civil rights. Involved in James Meredith's efforts to enroll in the University of Mississippi and his public investigation into the murder of Emmett Till, he had long been a target for white supremacists. Evers was mourned nationally and buried on June 19th in Arlington National Cemetery, where he received full military honors before a crowd of more than 3,000 people.
An overview on the history between the two milestones set the stage for guest speaker Lieutenant Commander Payne, who shared Frederick Douglass's perspective on the Emancipation Proclamation.
For my own part, I took the proclamation first and last with a little more than it purported, and saw in its spirit a life and a power far beyond its letter. Its meaning to me was the entire abolition of slavery.
Payne also went into detail about the 10 demands of the March on Washington, including comprehensive and effective civil rights legislation and broadened Fair Labor Standards Act.
And the minimum wage.
The night ended with a song from one of our own sailors.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
Reporting for the 70,
change gon' come.
I'm Petty Officer Alex King.
Did you know in 2012, the Navy lost almost as many sailors to motorcycle accidents as we did in combat? This prompted the Navy to implement comprehensive safety measures for riders, from the clothes they wear to the classes they take. Petty Officer Kevin Harbach sits down with one sailor who shows us from personal experience how to minimize these risks.
If you ever ask a motorcycle rider why they ride, you'll usually get the same type of answer.
It's kind of hard to explain, you have to experience. So. There's not a feeling like it. It's just out there, it's you, it's the open air, it's a completely different sensation than riding in a car.
It's very relaxing for me. It allows me to escape. It's an amazing experience. It doesn't matter if you're a cruiser, sport bike, you're an enduro guy.
But it goes without saying that there are dangers involved, and one Carl Vinson sailor found out firsthand how fast things can go wrong.
Coming into work, it was about 1100 at the time of the accident, and I was coming into work going over the bridge when the truck in front of me decided to hit his brakes. So I had to hit mine, but it was already too late, and my back end kicked around to the right. The bike just laid down on its side and started sliding. I started rolling. I hit the ground with left arm first, ended up rolling/sliding a good 100 feet at least.
Stories like HT2s are why the Navy has implemented several training requirements for any sailor who chooses to purchase, own, and ride a motorcycle, even to get base decals.
Once you initially get your bike, you're required to do your basic before you can actually even ride a motorcycle. But basic is all you need to actually start getting on base.
Aside from it being a smart decision to complete the safety courses to know your bike and how to handle it, the Navy even has specific requirements for the gear required to wear on or off base.
Don't think that just because you're wearing a helmet necessarily means the helmet's going to be good enough. Don't think that just because the Navy requires long sleeves, all you have to do is wear a long sleeve t-shirt.
And Carl Vinson has a special interest in the safety of its riders.
We are pushing pretty hard. Safety department and myself as a motorcycle safety representative on board, we're pushing to get everybody through the courses that are required.
Recently, some of the Navy requirements have changed. Basic motorcycle training is no longer enough.
There was an update to the traffic instruction
in June of last year that requires all motorcycle riders to complete 2 separate courses within 60 days of each other. So once you take the basic rider's course, you only have 60 days to complete the second level course for the style of bike that you ride. That's the big push that's on right now, is to get our numbers up where they need to be.
If you have any questions about the mentorship program, see your departmental motorcycle training representative or go talk to Chief Harrell up in VLA. Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer Kevin Harbaugh.
That's it for this episode of The 70. I'm your host, MC3 George Bell, and I'll see you around the deck plates.